And welcome back to another episode. It's been a couple of months, but another episode of Healthy and Whole.
Mind, body, and soul.
My name is Leo, and this is my lovely wife,
Shawnee Presley.
All right, and we're here back again. So happy to be here with you on Healthy and Whole in mind, body, and soul. We're here to help us all live a healthier, more fulfilling life. And we want to make sure that we're healthy, not just in body, but our minds, our bodies, and definitely our soul, because we want to make sure that we're healthy in every aspect of life. So
That's right.
Tonight is, we've been going for a couple of months. There's been a lot of things going on. I hope you all have been tuning in. There's been camp meeting, and there's been all sorts of stuff going on for those that are within our the sphere of the organization. So we've been kind of moving around, and it's been summertime, but now we're back. And we got a couple of good topics to talk about tonight.
Yes.
And also stay tuned. We've got a dynamic guest that will be on live with us later in the show to give us some insights on their personal journey in regards to the topics that we're talking about tonight. So please stay tuned. I want to also put it out there. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever we're streaming, please feel free to send in questions and chat items and that sort of thing, because we want to make sure we interact with you. We're here to give this information so that we can all benefit and be a little bit more healthy, right?
Right.
All right. So what is our topic for this? Shawnee always asks us to interview you guys. So if y'all have seen us before, we kind of do the intro first, and then we kind of get comfortable. So what's our topic today?
Our topic today is fitness and nutrition. So this has been a big ongoing thing since COVID hit, that everyone is talking about fitness and nutrition. Many of us had gained the COVID-15. That's what I'm going to call it.
15.
Quarantine 15.
Right.
And a lot of us right now are trying to figure out a way to get it off. And how did it happen? Wasn't I doing exercise? Was I not monitoring what I was eating? So today we're going to talk about children, adults, elders, everyone from beginning to end, about fitness and nutrition and what we can do to help us start going into the right steps to get some of the outcomes that we really want in our lives.
Right. That's so true. And it's so important. And I hope if you saw the flyer earlier, you saw the kind of title for this show is Fitness and Nutrition. No hype.
Nope.
Just health.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people got into, I know we did. We tried some of the at-home workout programs when the gyms were closed down. And when you start searching for these things, you run across these videos and these seminars that literally 50 minutes of it is all hype. It's all buy my product, buy this thing, buy that. And they give you very little insight into what actually makes our fitness and nutrition tick.
Yes.
So we're not going to talk about, hey, do this program or try this diet. We definitely just want to talk about what are the basics? What are the things we need to know so that we can take ownership, take control, and be impactful when it comes to our fitness and how we approach our nutrition. Before we go any further, I do want to say a big, giant thank you and shout out to Brother Johnny, to Pastor Heraclio John Wyatt Jr. and his First Lady and his spouse, Sister Paulette Wyatt. We are, this is through AFC Brooklyn 265, and we love working with them. It's been a pleasure working with them on this venture, and we want to say a big thank you for their support, for their backing, we also want to say a big thank you to the production team, the beautiful flyers that go out, all of the behind the scenes camera and internet work and all that stuff. God has blessed us with a great group of folks to work with. A great team. It's a team. That's true. Very true. And teams are very good when they work together. And it's been a blessing working with that team. So now let's jump right in to fitness and nutrition.
So
no hype, just health.
Right. No hype, just health. I'm the interviewer in some cases, and he will be answering some of the questions. So let's jump right in. What is fitness?
Okay. Now, again, I told you no hype. A lot of people think when we think fitness, we think of exercise, rightfully so, but we also think of a certain body appearance. Most people think of, very chiseled muscles, and now don't get me wrong, that is fitness. But one thing you want to realize is fitness comes in a spectrum. So when you define the word fitness, when it comes related to human health, fitness is the ability to physically meet the demands of your daily activities without experiencing undue fatigue and or sickness. So being able to go through our day, the movements we have to do, the activities we have to carry out, and be able to do those things without just being worn out by any one activity. So fitness, and that term was actually derived from biology, from the hard science of biology. When they would talk about the fitness of an organism for its given environment. So if you had a shark without teeth, it wasn't very fit for its environment.
Wow,
if you had a giraffe these days with a short neck, it's not very fit for its environment.
That's right.
So when we talk about the fitness in relation to our health, how fit are we to carry out the duties and to carry out the activities that our daily environment and life demands of us?
So when we talk about fitness is not a ideal, I see this picture goal.
No.
Because fitness is different for each body type.
It is different. Now, again, when you see those people, the fitness models, the workout buffs, that's like when you watch the hype videos about buy my product, it's always people that look like somebody drew them with a marker. They're perfectly, because they want you to aspire to that particular body image.
Yes.
And that can be a great motivator. But we have to understand that there's a spectrum here.
Genetics.
There's genetics. Yeah, some people are built, some people are genetically predisposed to be muscular. There's nothing you can do about that. But we can all be fit in that our muscles are strong, our bones are at their peak level of health, that our cardiovascular and our breathing, respiratory systems are allowing us to go up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing and wheezing.
Right.
So even though I want everyone to get this, to get rid of the hype, that end spectrum of fitness, of looking very toned and fit and looking, that is a great aspiration to have.
That is a great aspiration.
Trust me, I do it too. I'm working at it too. So I'm not telling you that's not real, okay? But what I'm saying is I want people to not get discouraged, because if you start working out and after 6 months people don't look like that, they begin to get discouraged, because that's all they think their fitness journey is.
So what we're doing is actually helping people to realistically think of the true nature of fitness.
Exactly.
Okay.
The better the more comfortable, the more effective you are at carrying out your daily activities, your daily routine, and not feeling like you're going to wear out by the end of the day. That you can go up and down the stairs, you can walk to and you can walk throughout the store, you can go through your daily chores at home physically and not have pains and aches and a great level of fatigue. That is a sign of increasing fitness. So we want to make sure we understand that's what fitness is.
Okay. That was simple. All right. The next question is, what is nutrition?
All right. So now, when I say nutrition, what do you think?
Food.
Food. That's what nutrition starts with. But nutrition is, again, very multifactorial. When we think of nutrition, again, with the hype, buy this sort of thing you put in your smoothie.
Detox and protein shakes.
Yeah, protein.
Okay.
That's what we think of as nutrition.
Yeah.
Those are supplements. That's not nutrition, okay? Nutrition is the body's ability to obtain, ingest, digest, and utilize nutrients.
Okay.
So let me break it down.
That's a lot more complicated than what we've seen and thought we understood throughout time.
Exactly. So a lot of times we think it's just what we eat.
Yeah.
But it starts with what we eat. But how does our body break down what we eat? Okay. Is it able to fully utilize what we eat? Is it delivering the amount of nutrients that we need? And again, we have to go back to that individual thing. When that person is selling you the fitness shake on the hype video, again, we thinking, well, if I'm not losing 20 pounds a month on this fitness shake, it's not working. Not true. Again, if your body is functioning better, if your health, your overall health and well-being is improving, then that nutritional journey, if you will, that nutritional endeavor is actually paying off. But nutrition takes in the entire spectrum of what we eat, how our body uses it, how our body breaks it down and makes it a part of us, how we can then use it for energy and function, and then even how our body gets rid of what we don't need. Nutrition is all of that combined.
So it sounds like you're saying every shake, every supplement, every powder out there is not designed for everyone.
Right. That is exactly what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
It is very hard unless you're going on and the world tells us today, the hype machine tells us that unless you strictly adhere to this particular shake diet, that you you drink a shake in the morning, a shake for lunch, and then have a sensible dinner. What is a sensible dinner? How do I know if your shakes are telling me what nutrition is, how do I replicate that nutrition in the dinner I choose? I don't know. So now all of the hype is telling you if you drink 2 shakes and then eat whatever dinner you want that you call sensible, you're going to get this outcome. That's not really true.
That's why it's so easy for people to just give up.
Exactly. There you go. That is the thing with fitness and nutrition. A lot of people will have that moment like, wait a minute, what's going on? Mm-hmm. That I bought this expensive diet plan, or I started attending this expensive workout, or I bought this $4,000 Peloton bike, which we'll get back to later. That, and now I'm still not losing the weight that I want to.
Right.
You have to understand that our lives and our fitness and nutrition and our health is so multifactorial that no one thing is going to change.
I am so glad you said that, because I started thinking about when you said our lives.
Our lives.
When we look at celebrities and Instagram models and TikTok models, their bodies look ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But that's their job.
That's their job, exactly.
But when you have a life with a family and children and a job, you can't spend 5-6 hours at a gym.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to figure out a way how to get your body to adapt to your stresses. Well, I'm moving too fast.
Keep going. That's good stuff. See, she want to stop talking when she starts going. Good. That's good stuff. Say it again.
Well, when your body is having to move through different stresses in life.
Right.
As we get older, as I understand, some of us take medications.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us can't eat certain things that we used to be able to eat.
Mm-hmm.
People will say, don't eat sweets, but your body needs some type of fat.
Some type of sugar.
Some type of sugar. So it sounds like you're saying that we all need to take a step back and evaluate our own walk in life, our own bodies in nutrition and fitness.
If everyone could be that convinced of that, we'd be perfect. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you how your fitness and nutrition journey needs to start. For all of those out there watching that want to be more fit, that want to have good nutrition, don't just watch a video online and think that'll work for me. Because God made you extremely unique. The way your body uses food is different from anybody else.
That's right.
The concentration of different nutrients in your body that makes your body function at an optimal level is different from anybody else. The way your body responds to natural sugar, it will be different from somebody else. The way your body responds to cholesterol, the way your body responds to exercise, the way your body responds to activity will be different from anybody else. So where do you start? On a fitness and nutrition journey, start with your doctor and a very robust blood work panel.
Okay.
What is my metabolic, and you can ask these questions. What does my metabolic profile look like? What they'll be able to do is look at when they look at your blood work, are your triglycerides this way? Is your A1C this way? There's all of these medical terms that are indicators of what metabolites are out of whack in your body. Your protein, your magnesium.
You made me think about when I did my blood work in April and my doctor looked at it.
And what did she tell you, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, she said everything was good. Everything looked great, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to figure out what was I eating that made it so great. Mm-hmm. So now I got to think back on what was I eating.
If I remember correctly, there was one thing she told you that was low.
My iron? Was it my iron?
Iron and?
Was it my cholesterol?
No.
I can't remember.
It's your protein.
My protein. That's correct.
Yes. I'm more in tune with her medical stuff. That's pretty bad.
My protein was very low.
Okay. So again, your weight was well managed. You felt okay, but your protein was out of whack. So again, people can look. You wouldn't have known if you hadn't started there.
Yeah.
So now, when you go on a diet, you may say, "I'm going to cut out carbohydrates. I'm going to just cut back on my bread. But you don't realize that cutting out on this or cutting out on that could throw your protein even more out of whack. So now you start having other symptoms of low protein, low iron, because protein is usually, you're not getting enough animal protein. Okay. So now maybe that's where the iron deficiency came from. Yeah. So again, that really good blood panel from your doctor telling you what's going on with your body. What is too high? What is too low? That's where you start. And then when it comes to fitness, asking your doctor, how, can I get a cardiac stress test? Could I go through and maybe do a bone density scan? When you go and do your physicals, these are things you need to ask, because just the way you look in the mirror can't be the only reflection of your fitness and nutrition.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, again, when you're really fit and your nutrition is really good, yes, your body will take on a certain appearance.
Yes, it will.
But when you're starting on this endeavor, when you're trying to improve from point one, you've got to figure out what my body is doing, what I may need to change, and then how I should expect my body to respond. Because if you don't, it's like throwing darts at a dartboard and you're blindfolded. You have no clue what you're shooting for. And you're just going to end up wasting a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of frustration, and really not even getting any more healthy.
That's right.
Okay.
Great. That was great. That was great. Okay. So the next questions is what are symptoms of poor fitness?
Symptoms of poor fitness. Okay.
Yes. Symptoms.
The first place to start is if you have to, not out of convenience, but if you have to always find the closest parking spot to the store, because if I don't park close, I'm going to be out of breath before I get in the store.
Okay.
Or if you got to go up a couple of flights of stairs and it is the worst part of your day when you have to take the stairs.
So if we think about what you just said, shouldn't be just suggesting aware of those things.
Being conscious.
Yes.
Yes. Very true. Being conscious of how much exertion do you feel going through your normal day.
Okay.
And now, or if you notice, I used to be able to do my daily activities and I could get through a day, but now I'm worn out by 2:00 in the afternoon. Then that's telling you that your fitness is suffering somewhere. Your ability to successfully and effectively carry out your daily activities is starting to be eroded because the energy and the vigor and the ability, that zeal or that ability, what's the word I'm looking for? That I guess vigor is the right word, to carry out your normal activities is starting to decrease.
Yeah.
Every time you see a chair, you want to just sit there and rest.
I can remember when I gained a couple pounds and you would be like, babe, you all right? I said, no, I'm tired.
Exactly.
I'm tired because I was carrying additional weight that I wasn't used to carrying.
You were carrying additional weight. Because you weren't exercising, your cardiorespiratory system and your muscular system wasn't as well able to put up with activity. Yes. So you fatigued quicker.
Yeah.
And people need to realize.
And I had to rest, literally.
Yeah, you have to.
I looked fit on the outside, but on the inside I wasn't.
And that is the key. Yeah. That is the key. Some people can, they can be a small dress size or shirt size or pant size, but every time you see them, they need to sit down and rest.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest indicators of poor fitness is when you don't have the energy you need to go through a day without needing like giant rest breaks. Like it is very hard to just go through your normal day. Your fitness is suffering at that point because you're not moving enough. Nothing's normal. Everything feels like work. When you see someone that said, I'm tired all the time, that's a sign of poor fitness. And sometimes we don't even understand it. I think our guest that comes on later will be able to tell us, as she started on her fitness journey, one of the things people often say is that the more I exercised or the more I was going, I found that I had more energy.
Energy, yes.
I had more energy.
Yeah.
Well, when you feel those energy levels being low, when normal daily activities, climbing stairs, walking into a store, going through, running back and forth and doing chores around the house, when those things are causing you to be short of breath, Lord forbid it's not making you lightheaded, any of those sorts of things, that is a sign that your fitness is severely
And sometimes
suffering.
you don't even see those things happening because it's very subtle.
Right.
And it's when it's almost at the down swerve curveball, that's when you notice something is wrong. Go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up because what most people will notice is as they get less and less fit, the activities that are optional, that are not necessary, they kind of weed those out. Okay. So maybe I want to go to the store, but I don't feel like it. I want to go to this activity, but I don't really have to go. I won't go. But that doesn't really impact them. It's not until their fitness gets low enough that the things they have to do become hard or they're prevented from doing. That's when people notice. Okay. Like say if they if for those of us that are back in offices and at work with all the COVID stuff, when you went back, if you had to climb up or you had to walk through the parking garage to get to the elevator or take the stairs, and you notice, wow, this is hard. I don't remember. That's a sign your fitness is suffering.
Right.
So, and when you have to, again, we talked about this a little bit with mental health, but with fitness, it matters as well. When you begin to withdraw from activities because it's making you too tired or because you don't have the energy that you normally would have done, that's the time to look and say, hey, I need to maybe try to get back into a certain level of fitness, not back into shape.
So the same question, symptoms would be towards poor nutrition. What are the symptoms of poor nutrition?
And now poor nutrition is is a lot more complicated because it doesn't manifest simply in our activity. But this is why this show was being put out there. This is one of the driving forces behind the creation of this show, is to make us more aware of our health and to engage the healthcare system more readily.
Yeah.
Poor nutrition will often first manifest in high blood pressure, heart disease, digestive issues, of course, weight gain. But a lot of the things that your doctor would have to find, if you find yourself with constant headaches, you find yourself with shortness of breath, you find yourself with where you're gaining that weight, or those sorts of things that are signs that something's medically going wrong. Because when your nutrition is bad in your body, or your nutrition is not optimal, your body will begin to the vital functions will begin to suffer. But that's why a lot of those things are often called silent killers, because you don't really experience or know about them until it really manifests and you're sick, until you have the heart attack, until you have the stroke. And God forbid any of us wait that long to get a physical that we get there. But most of the time, our nutrition, unless we're gaining a lot of weight, most people won't pay attention to it until our clothes get too tight. And I'm going to tell you the danger of waiting on your clothes to get too tight. Most of the clothes today are made to stretch.
You're right. I got a stretchy dress on right now.
Most clothes, they say you buy the slim fit shirts or the contoured or the dry fit things, or most clothes now.
Even with tights, because this is the big thing, tights and leggings.
Yeah, yoga pants.
Yeah.
Which people have turned into outerwear for some reason. I have no clue.
Hey, don't hate. It's comfortable.
I am. But then you think about it. Even khakis now, slacks that you wear.
They have that extended stretch.
They have the extended stretch.
Yes.
Or they're just made out of, they say the clothing manufacturers will tell you should buy this piece of clothing because it's made to move with you. Yeah. Well, it's stretching. So if you gain weight, you're not going to notice because it's going to stretch.
Wow.
So a lot of times, by the time you realize you can't fit something, you didn't gain 5 pounds. You gained 20.
You gained about 20. You're right. Keep going. I'm not going to mess you up, but you're right.
No, that's the truth. But usually the sign that we have to pay attention to our nutrition is weight gain, or we get sick. And our body's saying, hey, you've been doing this too long. Yeah. There's an issue. Yeah. There's something wrong. Okay. A lot of times it can be manifested in our skin. Our skin color gets dark. Or, we notice that from the weight gain, acne, all these sorts of things. But nutrition, because it affects what's going on in the inside, if we're not aware of it and actively engaged in trying to be good at it, it's not going to manifest until we get sick. It's too late then. We're already at that point. Now we have to work our way back. So today, when you walk away from this show, I want you to, that word you said earlier, start being conscious of your nutrition. Start thinking about it. Mindless eating or mindless consumption is our biggest enemy when it comes to nutrition, especially.
Chips and television.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Social media.
Don't ever eat in front of a TV. Don't do that. Don't. Oh my gosh, that's the most dangerous thing. But that's later.
We digress. All right. The next question is: do these vary over the course of our lives?
Yes, they do.
Those things that we just talked about.
Because God created our body to be so dynamic. Kids, from infant to what is called geriatrics, our elderly part of our life.
Yes.
Our bodies change how it responds and what it needs. But now, interestingly enough, a new study just came out probably about a month ago that I was reading. Most people thought our metabolism started to, and this goes to fitness and nutrition a little bit, that our metabolism started to slow down at the age of 30. This study found out that based on very minute metabolic calculations, like what the body is doing with food and the rate at which it's breaking down these foods, metabolism really doesn't start to slow down at a detectable level until the age of 60.
Decline.
It doesn't start to decline until the age of 60.
Okay. Thank you for hearing that. So that means.
So guess what? We can't keep blaming I'm just getting older.
Yeah.
That's what that study did. It told us. Now.
I like that.
Does our body change?
Yes.
Yes. But usually it changes because of lifestyle, not because of actual things going on with us.
We can even say that in our lifestyle, our weight does a roller coaster.
Exactly.
Every time we have children, the children grow up. Every change in our life, our body does a roller coaster.
Exactly. And it's not always specifically physiologic change or where your body is changing how it functions. It's that your body is having to respond to new stresses in life, and how are we adapting to that stress to keep things going?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, it does go over the lifespan. And now we're going to switch roles because we're going to talk about lifespan a little bit with fitness and nutrition. And I want to get Shani to talk about the children because
okay,
she's the mom.
Okay.
And I'll jump in every now and then.
All right, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Right.
Y'all ready?
They're ready. They're
All
ready.
right.
They're ready.
All right.
So when you think about fitness, let's start with nutrition. Children and nutrition.
Okay.
What do you think the biggest barriers to having good balanced nutrition is for children?
Children like junk food.
Yes, they do.
They love junk food, and anything that's quick, snacky, they love it. Mm-hmm. And that's just how our society is here in the Western Hemisphere, United States. Because in other cultures, it's not actually like that. Their snacky is, let me get a mango off a tree.
True.
Or let me get avocado or an orange or a sugar cane.
Well, there
is a cultural component.
Very true.
Exactly. As well as the parents. It depends on the parents as well. Because if the parents were raised to eat a certain way, they would automatically start feeding it into their children.
Very true.
So if that doesn't, if you're not the one that's showing a role model to the children of how vegetables can be fun,
right.
You'll see kids say, I don't like my vegetables. And sometimes it depends on how you cook it, because you can cook healthy food in a delicious way and the kids will gobble it all up.
I'm going to have to testify to that because I was never a Brussels sprout fan until this one started seasoning Brussels sprouts, not with like butter and fat back, not with that sort of stuff, but the seasoning that you season it with. I'm like, hey, that's actually not bad. But I want to say this about it before we go further. When it comes to role modeling healthy nutritional habits for kids, research has shown that before a child is born,
it's us, it's parents, it's moms.
The mother's diet impacts their appetites, what they find satisfaction in, all those sorts of things. So it is very important that we as parents be good role models for children when it comes to what we eat, what we complain about having to eat, what we keep in the house. Because for us, we're trying to lose weight. But for them, their bodies is preparing for a lifetime. And a lot of times the high blood pressures and all of the other things that we talk about in adulthood, those things start with eating habits as children.
And when you just said about the mothers, so when you're pregnant with a child, and I could tell you through the 3 different pregnancies I had, the first child, all I wanted to eat was vegetables. The second child, all I wanted was milk and meat. And the third ones, the other 2, I barely wanted to eat. And when you look at them, that's how they eat now.
That's exactly how they eat. That's exactly how they eat. And science has proven that whatever, even in utero, but whatever we feed children, whatever we model for them, this is what they learn to be. And this is why, and I'm going to take it here right now, this is why traditionally, one of the biggest reasons why the African American community or minority communities have been so stricken with health issues is because a lot of our traditional diets, and now whether how socioeconomics played into that, how disparate access to healthcare has played into that, that's a discussion for another day. But think about our soul food or our traditional foods. They're, even if they start out healthy, by the time we cook them, they're not.
I can know for me, coming from the culture that as a Haitian background, my mom cooked differently from your parents and your culture, which we're both Black people,
right?
But I'm Haitian, my background, and he's American. I didn't do well, and still don't do well when I eat that kind of food.
Your body, you like it, but then you pay for it for a couple days.
Oh my gosh, my body does not do well with the fat backs and all the butter and all that good stuff. That it makes it tasty,
right?
But it's not good.
And I can remember as a child, and we're going to get back to children here, as a child, watching my parents cook, and they would be cooking corn. Corn is a healthy food, very nutritious. But before they would put the corn in the pan, they would put a couple strips of bacon and season it, and then put the corn in with it. Well, The first time Shani made corn for me when we were married, and there was no bacon in it, that was our first debate, if you will.
As you can see, that's how I cook. You like it or leave it. That's kind of how it was.
She showed me this after we were married, girl. So there wasn't no leaving. That was, So, but I had to learn to eat the corn without the bacon. But what I'm saying is, as children, this is how I learned that the corn should taste.
Yes.
That added fat and cholesterol to my vegetables was normal.
Yeah.
So children's nutrition has to be modeled. Has to be very conscious. We have to be conscious of what we model for our children.
We have to actively.
Let me ask you a question though.
Okay.
What if a child is a picky eater? How do you handle that?
We have that. We have we have picky eaters. One thing that I've done is I watch the way they eat, what they like, and I also take the food that's picky to them and I make them think it's so delicious. You understand what I'm saying?
Again, you're modeling a behavior.
Yeah, I make them think it's so delicious, and I do like you've seen, add varieties. So when you add varieties, it's not that, I don't like that, but there's something else that they can choose.
Right.
That's a healthy option.
Right.
That's delicious as well, because we have children that don't like strawberries.
Right.
And we have some that don't like bananas.
Yeah.
So we have a variety of those different things that they can choose from, but they're healthy options.
Right.
All around them.
Right. And I'll say this, we have, one of our twins, Michael, is not a big meat eater.
No.
He loves starch.
Yes.
But we have to, unfortunately, we have to tell him, we have to encourage him, Mike, you have to eat your meat as well as your starch. You have to eat this. And, with our oldest, he is a sweet tooth fanatic.
Oh, yes.
But how we modify that is once you're done with this, then you can have your sweet dessert.
But it's in moderation.
It's in moderation and it's balanced. And remember, don't ever make food the enemy.
No. One thing that I've introduced, which was a blessing, was different kinds of meat. We used to eat a lot of salmon, but now we eat all different types of fishes. Croakers, pokies, red snapper, all those different kinds.
Yeah.
So they have a palette of a variety of things that are healthy for them, but can be tasty at the same time.
Right. I often have people laugh when I say that. My 5-year-old or our 9-year-old,
they love lobster.
When he was 5, was probably the only kid in the school that got sushi for lunch.
Every Wednesday.
Shani would take him sushi in kindergarten, y'all. She would take him sushi for lunch in kindergarten. But
and now the twins are into sushi.
And Daddy doesn't like sushi. I'll eat it, but I don't like it. But that's the thing, modeling behavior and making sure that picky eater has a wide variety, because if you have a very narrow diet and that kid is picky over one of those staples, they're going to be missing something. So trying to make healthy options but having a very wide variety is what you're saying is helps with kids' nutrition. Good. Okay. Now, what if you have a child that's just not a big eater? Do you ever think like the Pediasures are those sort of supplements, are they helpful for a child that needs to have more of a robust diet, like they're finicky, they don't eat a lot of anything?
Yes. What we've done, and you can remember, we've done Boost, we've done Pedialyte, Ensure. But one thing that I would say is look at the sugar content and the sodium content in those drinks, because they're different. There's some for protein, there's some for diabetic, there's many different kinds. And you have to make sure that you're not giving too much sugar to the children, because it's going to be sweet anyway, but it's giving them that added on calories. Kids need calories.
They need calories
because they're constantly burning it. And if you have a child that doesn't like to eat lunch or doesn't like to eat dinner, you can supplement it with that, but you're also adding just a little bit of food on the side, because you're gonna have to wean them off those things.
And it is one of the things that's very important for kids in their nutrition is you have to remember that their nutrition they need it to develop, to grow.
Yes.
Okay. Their body needs that nutrition. This is not optional. Children have to eat. If I miss a few meals, it's probably good for me. When kids miss meals, it can lead to educational problems. It can lead to stunted growth, if that's not the medical term, but their ability to grow and develop, their bones, their muscles, their body needs that, because their bodies are a factory for growth at this point. So getting it the raw materials is very important. All right. So that's it for children's nutrition.
Okay. Fitness.
Children's fitness. Okay. We can both talk about this one. Simple. This is simple. We're going to make this simple. Make kids move.
Yeah.
Just make them move. Don't let kids literally sit in one spot. One of the worst things that have happened is these custom video game chairs.
But they look good though.
And they're comfortable as all get up.
Yes.
But kids will sit in a video game chair and play a video game for 4 hours on end.
And don't even realize it.
No.
But that's just like us when we're on social media or
Yes.
anything. We can sit there for literally 2 hours and don't even know where the time went.
Very true.
Yeah.
So getting kids to move, having them as a part of organized sports, taking a walk with your kids, doing things with them in the house. One of the things that's really good is when our kids play the Switch. They have a video game, but it requires them to move. Like if they're playing Mario Kart, they're playing, and these games with the controllers, you have to move. So getting them games that are not just their fingers moving, but now our kids use their whole bodies
jumping
moving.
And bouncing.
Encourage movement as much as possible. On the weekends.
And as a parent, what I would say as well has worked for me. I have a schedule. My watch goes off literally every hour or hour and a half, and it says it's time to move. And my kids know we're going outside for sunlight.
Right.
And they play outside for about 10, 15 minutes. Because I think the NFL has this thing where
play
60.
Play 60.
So for 60 minutes, and you break that out throughout the whole day to get them to go outside and play. You may be out there sitting there on your phone, but sometimes look up and get up and walk wherever they're walking at and kind of play with them a little bit. And it's just easy movement.
It's easy movement.
Yes.
Yeah. I can remember my mom would come when I was a kid and we would be sitting out watching cartoons or whatever. And she would say, hey, y'all get up and go run around the house 3 times. And it used to drive us crazy. I hated it. I'm like, what am I running around the house? I look like an idiot running around the house. But it was just to make sure that we kept moving. And now we're going to get into this when we get into adults here in a second. But movement, our bodies is designed, was created to move. And when we don't move, the nutrition part gets all out of whack, and definitely our fitness begins to suffer. All right? So that's it for children.
Yes.
All right. So adults. All right. Let's speed up here. Ooh. This is a lot of stuff, y'all. We're trying to catch up, y'all. This is 2 shows in one. Since we've been going for a couple months.
That's right.
So y'all bear with us. And remember, send in those questions and comments if y'all have them. We're watching to see if there's something we need to talk about.
Okay. So now we're switching roles again. These are going to be the same questions, but he's going to explain it and break it down for adults.
Right.
So as an adult, what can we do to help us to be not such picky eaters? Okay.
When it comes to adult nutrition, 3 things I want to say. Be conscious of what you eat. Be selective on what it contains. So be conscious, be aware of the content, and be aware of the portion sizes.
Okay, let's dig a little deeper into portion sizes. We didn't talk about that for children.
No.
Because children portion sizes are a lot different than adults.
Yes.
Like we want to give ourselves 2 big scoops of rice. We should give the kids 1 scoop of rice.
Right, exactly.
And go ahead what you're about to say.
And I'm getting ready to say this. When we're going to start doing this in our house, she doesn't know this yet. She's learning this too. We are actually going to begin to measure with measuring utensils. Oh. No. You cook with the cooking spoon. But guess what? A cooking spoon is not a serving spoon.
I know.
You ever realize that? Think about it.
It's big. Big.
We like rice. We eat a lot of rice and stuff in our house. And you cook with the big spoon that is the cook spoon. Yeah. And then you use that same spoon to measure out a portion.
Yeah.
Well, that portion in that cook spoon, if you look at a cooking spoon and a real serving spoon, those sizes are. So guess how much extra calories that is?
People. I thought I was doing it right.
We all thought we were doing it right. But I'm going to take all this advice. The prep spoon is not the serving spoon.
Okay, so where would we get a serving spoon from?
Well, you walk into you go to Walmart, any place, and go into their silverware aisle, and you'll see dining utensils, and then you'll see serving utensils. Okay. The serving, it looks like a supersized, not a supersized spoon, but a spoon that's bigger than normal. You know what you have that? Yeah, we have them. Okay. We just don't use them for that.
That's something new.
That's something, exactly. They're sitting in the drawer, but we just never use them.
Okay.
Because we are so used to using the prep spoon to serve with. And yes, there's one more thing to wash. Everybody's got a dishwasher, stick it in there, it's fine.
So basically, people, I got to throw this out. So basically, all the time that I've been trying to lose weight, I've been feeding myself too much.
Yes. If we're serving rice and you take the cook spoon, the prep spoon, and put that in there, that's probably 2.5 servings of rice. Wow. Whereas if you use the serving spoon, you get far less rice. Because guess what? You're not going to sit there and scoop and scoop and
Well,
scoop.
what about meat?
With meat can be a little bit different, because I'm not going to say people need to weigh their meat.
Because we have a scale, though.
Yeah, but hold out your hand. That palm size, not fingers, that palm size, that's what you want your serving of meat to be.
Okay, I can do that.
So that's how you want your serving of meat to be. Okay? And you do the same with your vegetables, that sort of thing. So with kids and adults, the biggest thing is to be conscious. Be conscious of what you're eating, how much you're eating, and what's in what you're eating. Now, what do I say be conscious? I'm not telling you to count calories. I'm not saying to measure out every milligram. And it's time consuming. None of us have time for that. But being conscious. There was a book that came out several years ago that was called Eat This, Not That.
We have that book.
We have that book. And in that book, it was telling you, if you want something sweet, eat this, not that. This thing is not perfectly healthy, but it's better. I'm going to give you an example. I'm a big fan, I try not to eat them, of glazed honey buns. Mm-hmm. I love them. Mm-hmm. I love glazed honey buns.
No, go ahead. Watch.
I love glazed honey buns. Mrs. Freshly's Jumbo Glazed Honey Bun. Listen, y'all. Are y'all listening? Is 590 calories. One honey bun is 590 calories.
Oh, yeah. I can eat 2 or 3 of those easy.
It has 37 grams of fat.
Oh, you're so right.
So that's 600 calories. That's a whole meal in that one wrapper. So what I had to do is, you know what? I want something sweet. I want a bready snack that's sweet. But you know what I started doing? I started substituting it for one of the sliced banana nut breads from Walmart. It's still not terribly healthy. But instead of 590 calories, it's 290 calories.
Oh, you say 200 calories.
Because,
is it as filling?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, banana bread is rich. Mm-hmm. So it's just as filling. I get that snack. It's a little sweet, but it's instead of 590, it's 290. Instead of 37 grams of fat, it's 13 grams of fat. Wow. So even though I'm not eating a health food, I'm making a healthier choice.
Alternative.
To
what you really want. Okay.
So now your body's going to respond because now you saved yourself 300 calories and you never step on the treadmill. Mm. All right?
Okay.
Good. So you can save yourself, and then you save yourself the time. Here's the next thing. I like Jimmy Dean breakfast bowls. Convenience. Here's one of the biggest things. We have to be conscious because convenience is an enemy. Yeah. Right? So Jimmy Dean breakfast bowls, the meat lovers bowls, right, is 70% of your daily recommended cholesterol intake. One bowl.
I bought you that.
I know you did.
I didn't know that.
70%. But now, the same Jimmy Dean bowl, different variety, the steak and egg bowl. Now, that one's only 13% of my daily cholesterol because the steak is leaner than the sausage. So and if I want to get, yes. Okay. And if you even want to get more extreme, Jimmy Dean makes a turkey and eggs bowl, which is even healthier.
You like that?
Yeah, I like them.
Okay.
So now, instead of just grabbing that meat lover's bowl, grab the steak bowl. And the steak bowl has 800 milligrams less sodium in it. I'm very sensitive to sodium. Yeah. I have a history of high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. So when I say be conscious, I'm not saying count and record the calories. Just look at it. Mm-hmm. When you pick that item up, just look at it and be like, whoa. Think about it.
So you kind of, if you can gauge a number for yourself, then that means when you look at whatever you're at, you say, okay, this is too much.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you think about it, and this is why going to professionals to start out is very important. If you ever have the opportunity to talk to a dietitian or a nutritionist, mm-hmm. ask them based on your current body size and type, or you're just looking at your weight, your BMI, and tell them what your goals are. They can give you an equation of you should eat roughly this many calories a day, blah, blah, blah. If you think about the average person, between 2,000 and 2,500 calories a day for the average person, mm-hmm. one honey bun is 600 calories.
Yeah.
How much of your, that's almost a third of your total daily intake. And you remember when I used to go to Cold Stone and get those giant coffee milkshakes? Oh. That was 2,000 calories in a cup. One milkshake was 2,000 calories.
And I love their ice cream. I can imagine what I've been doing to myself.
But see, this is what I say, be conscious. I'm not telling you to go straight keto. And let me tell you about that. I'm gonna jump subject here a little bit.
Have at it.
These extreme changing your lifestyle, the problem is you may do it for a season, but how consistent can you be?
Yeah, it's not sustainable for your body.
For the vast majority of people, these very strict keto diets or Atkins diet, or it's not sustainable across a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So when something's not sustainable across a lifetime, it's only going to give you results in that season you see it.
Yes.
And anything that is extreme is going to throw your body out of whack.
Yes.
The Atkins diet, these keto diets, people talk about eating, what do they call it? Keto diets because it was a primitive thing. Mm-hmm. People died because they ate that back then. The average lifespan of people back in the day was like 30 years old.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that? Yeah. I'm not saying it's not good or has its benefits, but you have to eat a balance.
It can be a kickstart.
It can be a kickstart, but you have to have balance in a diet.
Yeah.
Okay. So be conscious of what you eat. Mm-hmm. Think about the content of what you eat, and then control your portion sizes. And then we can go from there. If you want a whole lot of details, that'll have to come for another show because we're pressed for time a little bit.
Fitness. A lot of us have sanitary.
No, I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of people, especially when I used to work, I had a job where I was behind a desk.
Right.
90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And remember I told you I struggled.
Yes.
Because I like to move.
Mm-hmm.
How can we help adults with those kind of jobs?
And this is why I think a lot of people start to gain weight around between the ages of 30 and 40. It's not so much, again, we've already talked about that our metabolism really doesn't change that much. Our lifestyle changes. Mm-hmm. When we're in high school, when we're in college, when we're trying to build a life, we're building, we're moving. But then as we get that promotion, every promotion usually comes with less physical work.
Yes.
So now I'm a physical therapist. I went from treating patients all day, lifting, moving, to now as the director of rehab, I sit at a desk.
Yeah.
I got a promotion, but now my activity level went down. Yeah. So I have to compensate for that. Yeah. How do you work that out? Let me give you a tip. There's a productivity hack called the Pomodoro technique. Promodoro.
Pomodoro.
It's Italian for a tomato. This guy started using a tomato timer. He would set it for 25-minute increments, work for 25 minutes, rest for 5.
Okay.
Well, what I started doing is I do that because, one, it helps me focus. I got 25 minutes, let me just focus. Yes. But in that 5-minute rest, I get up and walk around the building, or I go check on something, or I go to the printer, or I go to the car, or I just go to make a bathroom run.
So easily that's 30 minutes of activity.
And now you break up that hour or 2 hour long sitting. Okay. Because once you start to sit past 30 minutes, your body starts to slow down its processes. Your body is extremely economical. What it doesn't need, it will not use. Yeah. So whatever calories you were burning, if you start sitting, your body switches from use mode to storage mode.
Storage mode. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So building in activity. One of my favorite terms that I've ever heard, if you say this in a crowd, it'll make you sound really smart, but it says it's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's a big word. Mm-hmm. Non-exercise, the time spent not doing focused exercise activity. Mm-hmm. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Thermogenesis is burning calories.
Burning calories, yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Even for most people who work out 30 minutes to an hour, they may burn 250, 300 calories.
You're right.
What are you going to do with the rest of that 22 hours in the day? How are you going to burn calories then?
Well, you're sleeping for hopefully 8 to 9 hours a day.
And your body will burn calories then too. Mm-hmm. But during your waking hours, do you always take, again, the parking lot closest to the door? Or do you purposely park far away? So
basically we're saying we can build in
your activity.
Okay.
If you go on Amazon, for those of you that have a sedentary, like a sitting down job, they have these under the desk ellipticals that you sit there and you do it. You build it in. Whatever you can do to burn calories, do that. Mm-hmm. Keep your body moving, just like with kids. Because the less we move, the more weight we gain, the more our fitness struggle suffers, the more our heart, our lungs, because we're not asking our bodies to do those things.
I'm gonna. I've been thinking about this serving spoon thing.
Oh,
we were talking.
She's still on the serving
Okay,
spoon.
guys, I'm gonna do an experiment. So the next time we come on this show, we're gonna see from today to the next show what has changed,
right,
in our weight and our physical activity.
And if you're watching, yes. I want you to. And here's another thing. Let me say this.
This would be a good challenge.
Good challenge. We got at least a month.
Yes.
I want you to weigh yourself today.
Yes.
And make these changes. I'm not telling you to go on a keto diet or anything like that.
No.
Just start being conscious of what you eat.
Yeah.
Get
the serving spoons.
Use the right size serving spoon.
Yeah.
And then make sure you be conscious of what you eat, the content, and the portion size. Okay. And then build in, not even if you don't build in real exercise, just make yourself move more throughout the day. Weigh yourself tonight and then come back and in the comment section tell us what the change is next time.
We see you guys here.
I see you. I know y'all are here. So I'm going to ask next time.
I hope you guys join this challenge. It's going to be exciting.
I'm going to do it for myself. And let me tell you another thing. A lot of us fear the scale. We don't get on it until we go to the doctor. Get on the scale regularly.
Yeah.
Because it's a sign. It gives you a, wait a minute, hold on. If I get on, I try to weigh myself at least weekly. And I try to do it at the same time of day on the same day of the week if you do it weekly. Because your body fluctuates with fluid volumes and stuff.
Yes.
But do that because, again, it's a marker. Just like you look at the gas gauge on your car, it's a gauge of what you're doing from your fitness and nutrition level. If your nutrition is really out of whack, that weight's going to start to go up. If your fitness is going down, your weight's probably going up. So if you check regularly, then you'll know whether you're changing or not.
One more thing as well. For me, what I've noticed is sometimes my weight don't move, but when I measure, the inches change.
There you go.
So if you're not seeing the scale moving, do measurements in different parts of your body and write it down. And every week, if you see just a slight centimeter of a change, something is changing.
Something's changing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if your weight's staying consistent, then you're probably doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because very few people's weight stay consistent. It usually goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So if your weight's staying consistent, you're moving enough, you're taking in enough calories to sustain yourself where you are. Mm-hmm. All right. And now here's the last thing I'm going to say about nutrition and fitness with adults. Make sure that you are taking in all of your essential nutrients. When you go to the doctor, ask your doctor, what if you get blood work done, ask what your metabolic profile looks like. Because if you are missing certain nutrients, it could mean that you're not eating a certain type of food enough. Yeah. And if you're not getting that nutrient, then your body, that nutrient will affect everything else.
That's right.
So if you're low in magnesium, if you have a low iron count of whatever,
vitamin D,
it impacts your ability to
yes.
break down other food.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're having digestive problems, go deal with that. Yeah. Because if your digestive system isn't working, your body can't use the food the way it should.
And the doctor will be able to tell you if your digestive system isn't working properly. We're not doctors. We're just people trying to give out information that has worked for us and that hasn't worked for us.
Right.
So talk to your medical professional.
Right.
Professional. So let's bring in our guest.
Let's bring in our guest.
I am super excited.
So we got a guest tonight who has been on an amazing fitness journey. There she is. Hey, Sister Victoria, how you doing?
Hey, y'all. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Now, for those of you who don't know this beautiful young lady on the screen with me, besides my wife, she's a beautiful young lady too. This beautiful young lady is Victoria Segrist Bates. She lives down in Birmingham, Alabama. She is a dynamic woman of God. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a daughter. And she's a community outreach person. Absolutely. She does all, but you know what else? She's my friend. That's my cousin, y'all. They're my cousin.
Yeah.
That's my cousin.
That's buddy.
That's my buddy. But she has been on an amazing journey. It's been awesome to watch your fitness journey and your transformation. And we wanted to bring you on tonight to just talk about what kind of started your fitness journey, and then we can go from there.
Well, you talked about some of the triggers for me earlier in your discourse about fitness and nutrition. I started seeing at the age of 30 symptoms of poor nutrition, and I knew something was really wrong when right after my 30th birthday, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. I went to my doctor to get my annual checkup. And, I was just like, I don't know why I feel bad all the time. And she was like, oh, you have high blood pressure. Here's some medicine. And I was satisfied with that. And because culturally, that's a thing. I thought that, diabetes and high blood pressure, those things were hereditary, but those things are not hereditary. It's the way we prepare our food that's hereditary. It's the way we eat that's hereditary. So, fast forward to like right before the pandemic, I just got tired of being fat. Yeah, I just gotta be me. I got tired of being fat. I knew I was in trouble when I went to the store because, I like clothes, and I went to buy a dress and I had to buy a size 18. And then I started seeing 2X's in my closet. I was just like, what happened? I was a size 8 when I married Travis. And then all of a sudden, and I knew I couldn't blame it on, having my children, because for me, after I had my children, my snapback was relatively good. I lost the weight quickly. But I was just like, oh no, I'm not doing this. And so the pandemic happened. But our gym opened up in June. And I said, I'm going to the gym. Because I knew I wasn't going to work out at home. Like, how y'all do the home workouts. I'm not wired that way. I'm the type of learner that had to see other learners engaged in the learning process. I can kind of talk about it from the educational process, and so I had to be around people who were doing what I wanted to do. And so I started going, and I got on a treadmill, and I was going on the treadmill for an hour, and I would go home, and I lost like 15 pounds. And then I just plateaued, and I was like, what's wrong? And so I got a trainer. I got a personal trainer. Let me stop and say this, if you don't mind. Choosing to live healthy is expensive, but when I had to really measure my choice and look at where I was spending my money, the extra money I was putting in to Netflix and other things like that, I could take that money and put it to where it was going to keep me living life and life more abundantly. So you have to make a decision. Let's just say that we always looking for an out. We're looking for an excuse. No, you have to make a decision. Where are you willing to invest? And at that point, I wanted to invest in my health. So I got a trainer. And, I started working out with her. And I did good. And, she was like, okay, we want to add weight training. I was like, weight training? I ain't trying to bulk up. What do you mean weight training? Right. And then, she told me, she said, well, Victoria, you have to eat well. You guys talked about the eating habits. We went through my macros and, determined how much protein I should be eating and all of that for the goal I wanted to meet. So I started weightlifting. I started doing cardio, and I started spin class. Fell in love with spin class. I love spin class. Now I teach spin class. And so I after a while, I looked up a whole year later and lost all of that weight. I was taking off my high blood pressure medicine. I was all but too happy to get rid of my closet. I had to start over. And it's just been a blessing. But one of the things I will say, and then I'll shut up so I can ask some questions. Doing this has taught me the reality of Christian struggle spiritually. Right. Jesus, when he came, had compassion on us. And I think sometimes we as saved folks forget that element, and we're not as compassionate as we should be. Right. The fact that I went in the gym, I had the mind and the will and spirit to lose the weight, but it took me a whole year. Right. To lose weight. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 2 months. Right. And to see myself struggle and to see other people struggle, it really gave me appreciation for God's grace, first of all, for his mercy, and just how willing he is to make sure that we're spiritually fit. Right. But I will tell you all, this has been recently in my adult life, this has been one of the best decisions I've made. I've lost all the weight. Now I'm doing light bodybuilding. I love it. And, it's my thing. There's my therapy hour. Travis and I, agreed in our household we're going to give each other some time, because we need time. When your mom, dad, husband, wife, children, job, you need some time to decompress. And the gym time is my time to decompress. So I do weightlifting, and I will show y'all my muscles, but somebody might think I ain't saved no more. So yeah.
Girl.
Yes, I love it.
But and I really like what you talked about making that investment.
Yeah.
She said, it's expensive to be healthy. But if you really look as a healthcare provider who gets to see the other side of this, it's more expensive to be unhealthy.
Yes.
It's more expensive to be unhealthy. The way you feel, and the next time you go to the doctor and you really need something done, look at the bill they send you. Look at the bill they send you. You could probably pay for 4 years worth of gym membership with one hospital.
Yes. Yes.
So now, when you got to that point where you hit that plateau, what pushed you to keep going?
I didn't want to be fat no more. I mean, it was, I identified an issue with Victoria.
I agree with that. I so agree with that.
Y'all should have known better than bringing me on here. Look,
that's why we said you were dynamic.
I mean, I was tired of seeing what I was seeing. I was tired of feeling what I was feeling. And, even though initially I lost, the first 15, 20 pounds, and I plateaued, and it was frustrating because, like, what am I doing? I'm still going to the gym. I'm still eating right. What's going on? My personal trainer said, okay, now you got to shock your body. Sometimes now you got to increase your workload. And again, it was a decision that I had to make. Either I could just keep going on the treadmill and just doing light stuff, and then I'm still stuck where I am, or I could shock my body, push myself, and get to that place. For me, get through that plateau was always remembering my goal. I had a mental image of what I wanted Victoria to look like. I didn't want to use, and this is what I was doing. I'm gonna say it. I've said it to you before. I didn't want to use my desire to be a Christian woman and those habits that we associate with holiness as an excuse. I don't have to be saved and broke down. I don't have to be saved and sick. I wanted to be lean. I wanted to be trim. I wanted my muscles to be defined. I wanted that when I walked in my house, my husband looked at me and said, "Thank you, Jesus." Hello, somebody. Right. And so I had to remember that image. So when I did plateau, it gave me the motivation I needed to have to keep going.
There you go. And that's so true. And I like how you referred to us as Christians, because sometimes us as Christians, I was watching something a couple of days ago, and they said we almost have created a glory in being sick, a glory in being broke down, and now if we get there through some unexpected sickness, God is able. But how many of these sicknesses are self-inflicted because we don't take advantage or make that decision to be healthy and to push through and to make that investment?
I have to agree with you, Victoria. Leonard knows from the time we got married. I said, when I married you, this is what I look like. And I'm going to try my best to stay as close to that. Because I have a desire to look a certain way. And I want you to be happy with the way I look because I'm happy with the way I look. I have to agree with that.
And I'll be honest, Shani will tell me if I get a little loose at the table every now and then, she'll be like, "Oh, hey, baby, you need to back up. You need to do something." And you know what? That's okay. It's okay. It might hurt your feelings. It hurt my feelings in the moment. I might not speak to her for 30 minutes or an hour, but I get it.
I'm going to be honest. You have to be honest in your relationships.
Right.
So we're going to a relationship, but let's go back to fitness.
But I do think being able to push through to make that investment. But now let me ask this question. Even before you hit the plateau and you lost the first 15 or 20 pounds, when you started on your fitness journey and you started on this improving your nutrition, how did you feel when you how did overall in your life when you started doing it, how did you feel?
Awful. I felt uncomfortable all of the time. I felt sluggish. And the way you feel physically will pour into what you do, how you feel emotionally and the manifestations of those emotions. So I had a bad attitude all the time. I was snappy. I was tired. It was awful. It was awful. And I knew, like I said, it was getting to the place where I was having bouts with vertigo. I was having dizzy spells all of the time. I felt awful. I mean, if there's another word, I would use that, but awful is the word I felt. And I got tired of feeling awful. I got tired of that.
When you started losing the weight, how did you feel? When you started seeing
Oh,
your
man.
results?
Well, first of all, let me say this, preface this before I answer. There's a difference in wanting to go on a diet and wanting to lose weight and wanting to be healthy.
Right.
I wanted to be
healthy.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to be healthy. Because diets will get you the quick results, because they're so extreme, they're so polarized. I wanted to be healthy. So when I first started going in June, I didn't even see anything until August. And I felt like a champ. I felt like I was doing something that was worthwhile. And physically, I started feeling better. I could tell the small changes. And I'll even say I feel better now today than I felt last month. Because with healthy living, it's about, just like spiritual living, it's about progression. I'm not going to be perfect in my body until I inherit that incorruptible body that Jesus promised me. I got to deal with this fleshy stuff. I'm not going to be perfect in my physical or spiritual health. But in the meantime, I can work towards progress. And I thank God for it because I feel better. I feel great. I feel like I look good. I can go to the track and run a lap and not be intimidated by it. Like I said, my goal at the end of the month is to leg press 600 pounds. I've already done 540. I've already deadlift 220 pounds. And it makes you feel good when you see the progress and see that your body is strengthening. You feel amazing.
You feel amazing. That is so true.
So my question for you is, right now, you've done this process for a year. How has it changed your eating habits and lifestyle for your children and your husband in the home?
It changed where I shop. I shop. Now, I'm not in it where you shop, where you got to shop. But, God allowed me to switch from Walmart to Piggly Wiggly. Now I go to Publix.
Right.
In fact, when you text me, I was buying some avocados.
There you go.
The sweets in our house are now fruits. I'll buy a bag of chips and let them live a little bit. I'll let them be great a little bit, because you don't want to deprive yourself. Sometimes, we do it. There's so many parallels, but sometimes we get so gun-ho, we deprive ourselves of the small pleasures of life, and God don't want us to do that either. So I bought a bag of classic chips, but I'm looking at the labels. I'm looking at sodium. The meats that we buy. Well, first of all, no pork. No more pork. I'm allergic to seafood, but the kids and Travis, they do a lot of salmon. They do a lot of fish. But there's a lot of lean meat, and all the meat is baked, no fried food. We're not big on the starches, but because, I know it's needed, we'll do some starch. We might do some jasmine rice or brown rice. It's not always white rice. I would try to get the healthier alternatives to what we've eaten before in the past, because Travis and I grew up, white rice. But it's changed everything about how we eat. We eat much, 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 much better. And even when, we have the sweet cravings, because sometimes I still do, instead of getting like an ice cream, I went to Publix and they have these, and it's for protein, for me, protein is big because I'm doing light body lifting, but they have these pops that are banana halves and they're dipped in peanut butter and chocolate, and is a better option than the straight up Napoleon, or the ice cream, the red and Yeah, I know what ice cream I'm talking about. The international ice cream and birthday parties, is much healthier than them, you know. But like I said, it is more expensive, but it's been a blessing to eat healthy in the home. And I'm glad y'all talked about modeling. At the beginning, Travis and I did not model good, healthy eating habits in front of our children. And you could, it was something that was being passed down to them. So now, the way we eating, when we're changing the way we're eating, Olivia and Noah have changed the way they're eating. I kind of laughed at y'all talking about picky eaters. We got picky eaters. I say you can be a picky eater when you go and pick up a job. Other than that, you eat what I put in the plate.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's been a blessing for everybody.
Right. That's so good. And now we had a comment, Sister Victoria, Blessed Child 630, says that she loves it, but she wants to see them muscles. So you gotta put her on the gun show.
Show the gun.
No problem. I'm still safe. Okay. Yeah. But now I'm gonna say this before I show y'all my muscles. One of the biggest things that made me unhappy about my weight was my arms. My arms was doing the sanctified sway. Oh man. And it ain't cute. It is not cute. But my arms went from doing this to that.
Yeah. You better get it.
So try something. But it comes with hard work. It comes with hard work. It comes with hard work.
And I want to say this. I want to step back into my expert role here. When it comes to working out, being fit and nutritious, it not only pays dividends now, but the weightlifting Sister Victoria's doing, the walking on the treadmill, your heart's healthier. But one of the biggest things for the geriatric community, the older community, our elders, I work in this environment. They fall, they break a hip. It leads to that downward spiral.
Yes.
But when you work out and you're healthy, your bones are stronger before you ever get there. So it offsets osteoporosis. It offsets muscle loss. A lot of people's metabolism begins to change because they begin to lose muscle mass because your muscles drive your metabolism. So the working out, the nutrition and the fitness go hand in hand. If you're working out, you have to feed that factory. The more you feed the factory, the more fit you become. So but it all starts with like you said, a decision and an investment in health. We started out by saying, don't chase the image on the picture only.
Yes.
Chase the overall health and well-being.
One thing I'd like to say for our audience is, from what Victoria told us, I didn't like how I felt. Some of us may have different reasons why we want to do our health journey. And remember, she said she started in June and did not see anything until August.
Right.
So if you started today and it's August and September comes up and you see nothing, do not worry. Keep going.
Right.
Going. Right. It's just as our spiritual journey.
Right.
At first you're like, I want to stop cursing, but they still come out. But after a while, you get to the point where you're like, wow, I wanted to do it and it didn't even come out.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit tamed my tongue.
But you guys laugh about that. You guys laugh about that, but the scripture says that the Holy Spirit will mortify the deeds of the body. And, I don't know why we just think, everything is boom, immediate. I mean, even the growing process of a baby within the mother's womb, God gives a timeline, but you have to give yourself grace, and you have to. The one thing Travis and I were talking about today at breakfast, in fact, we were so glad that we started it, because it started as, okay, we got to go, let's do this. But what ended up happening is it became a part of our lifestyle. Exactly. Like, it's not so much of a task anymore to choose to eat healthy. It's not a task. I already know Travis is going to get up at 5:00 in the morning, every morning, and he's going to the gym. It started as a task. Now it's routine. And so with your health, with aspects of your health, when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to, your weight. I will say go to Walmart, get some dumbbells, even if you're just doing some minor shoulder press or some biceps or whatever. Do something to work the muscles of your body, and then do some cardio exercise that's going to work that cardiovascular system in you that can sustain, what you're doing. But after a while, it will become a part of who you are. And it's the same thing spiritually. We all have things that we don't like about ourselves spiritually. And if you on here and you saying you don't, well, I'm going to tell you, the Bible said it, because it ain't Victoria. The Bible says you're a liar. In 1 John chapter 1, verse 8, he says, if any man say he have no sin, have is present tense. Let me help you. I'm an English teacher. He says, he's a liar and the truth of God is not in him. As I said, we're working towards incorruption. We're working towards perfection. But in that work, God will gradually start taking those things and molding them to our lifestyle, whether it's physically or spiritually. And you're going to look up and you're doing it, and it's not hard to do anymore.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. That's so true.
Yes.
And Sister Pamela Morrison just said the better to put out a little extra on the front end than to pay more on the back end. And that's so true.
Always.
I see people who come in as patients and they should be in the prime of their life, but they've had a stroke because they ate bad all their life. Or, I've seen people lose their life or lose a limb because they were just uncontrolled with how many sweets they ate. They never were conscious. And I want to reinforce what you just said, or reiterate what you just said, is that the small daily investments turn into long-term change. And until you're willing to do that, it's really gonna be difficult to be healthy in your mind, your body, and definitely in your soul as well.
And it's gonna take all of us to make a difference, because like you said, in African American culture, it's not normal,
right,
to see people going to the gym and doing those kind of things.
The gym. What is the gym?
Yes. Or doing something to look better, because they say, "Oh, who are you trying to look good for?"
Yeah, me.
Oh man!
And I want to say, I'm glad you brought that up, because Victoria said this. I think it's so important for those of us, especially starting out, to have some sort of community that we're working out with. Like you said, going to the gym. One of the added benefits of being in the gym that a lot of people don't even realize is it helps you struggle when you see other people struggle.
Yes, it helps you struggle.
It helps you because I'm not the only one. I remember the first time when I used to lift weights when I had the time, and I have to make the time now. But when I would see somebody else trying to do a bench press, and I see them get stuck with it, I go, okay, so I'm not the only person that's happening to.
Yeah.
So I can keep going. Or if I see somebody and I say, man, I hadn't seen you in a couple of days. Yeah, I'm getting back. I'm not the only person struggling. But seeing other people, like she said in her Victoria's a teacher too, y'all. She's a dynamic teacher. You heard her say, seeing others engaged in the learning process, seeing others engaged in that healthy process, community, just on the fitness side and on the church side.
I was just about to say that on the spiritual side, because when we're struggling, people think church people act so perfect and saved. We're not.
No.
We all go through struggles, we need to try to act like we sitting on a high horse.
So many times.
What?
All muddy up.
What?
But Sister Victoria, do you have? I know we're over our time. Our production team is probably yelling at the screen right now. So, Sister, you got any remarks you want to make? Any advice you want to give before we wrap up here today?
Choose. And whatever choice you make, you deal with the consequences. Physically, I want to say this to the church world, especially to the African American church. It is not a badge of honor to be unhealthy. It doesn't make you saved because you eating this big piece of fried chicken, yellow rice, and green beans. It doesn't make you saved because you are unfit. It doesn't. We have some undercurrents that are not healthy, and not healthy physically, but not healthy psychologically. Some of the things that we have let just go under the radar are affecting people's esteem, are affecting people's psychological perceptions of themselves and others. Jesus said, when I came to give you life and life more abundantly. And he's talking physically too. So we have to make the choice. And I know somebody probably like, oh, you just say that because you lost 85 pounds. Yes, I did. But guess what? A year later, a year ago, I was 85 pounds heavier. So I know about the power of God. I know about his grace being sufficient, even in this physical journey. But just because I did it this year, and if I decide tomorrow I'm gonna slack off, I'm gonna easily slide back. Just because I made all these gains, I can go back. We can always backslide. And so it's a choice. It's an everyday choice. And I give God the glory. I give God the honor that he restored. I tell the people at the gym all the time, God took a broken body and restored it. I feel better than I did when I was in college. God took a broken temple and rebuilt it. And I'm so glad that he did. I'm just so glad. I just can't thank God enough for healing me.
Right. And you know what? Healing.
Yeah.
It's healing.
Yeah.
This is
because without a healthy temple, you can't do God's work.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I was getting ready to say,
right there.
we always talk about, and I was going to say this, this was my ending thing, is that we want to be good soldiers for Christ. Soldiers have to be fit, mentally, spiritually, and physically, mind, body, and soul. If you go into any training place for soldiers, they don't just shoot, they don't just look at logistics, they keep their body in shape.
Yes.
They keep their temple in shape. And if we are going to represent God, to work for God, and to really give God the best of us, then we have to invest in being the best us.
Yes.
And that's fitness and nutrition.
And like you said, the best us.
Yeah.
My fitness and my walk with God is not your walk with God.
Right.
So you make sure your relationship with God is your relationship. And my relationship with God will be my relationship.
Exactly. And God will take us both to fulfill his will for our lives. So now we already did our healthy tip of the week. We talked about going from the cook spoon to the serving spoon.
To the serving spoon. Yes.
So try it, and look, everybody, weigh yourself tonight. Let's start. We're gonna start some work here.
We could wait tomorrow morning.
Why? Okay, whatever you do.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do, even if it's not weight,
today or tomorrow,
right? Let's just make sure we start to be conscious of what we eat. Mm-hmm. We're conscious of what's in what we eat, and we're conscious of of our portion size, and that we move. Just move a little bit more today than you did tomorrow, and then build on it. Start somewhere. I'm gonna tell you one quick story, and then I'm gonna end. Okay. Remember, I promised myself I was getting ready to join the gym, but I told Shani, I said, unless I can get up a month straight and work out before I go to work at home, I'm not going to the gym because I'll be wasting money. And I made that commitment. Mm-hmm. And I did it. I still didn't join the gym, but I did it.
Okay.
I did it. Yeah. But you have to. I didn't join the gym yet because
I'm usually sleep. My workout time is like 7:30.
Yeah. But the thing is, and our life changes as the kids went back to school and sports started. Yeah. So now I actually work out 2 hours a day because I coach football.
At the football.
So I'm working and I work out with my kids. But what I want to say is, I appreciate everyone that's watching. This was the most interactive session we've had so far. Yeah. So thank you for all the comments. Please share.
Thank you for joining us.
A big giant thank you to Victoria and taking us to the gun show today.
Looking so nice with that yellow.
She's flying now. But you know what, y'all? When you feel good, you look good. Yes. And when you can look good, then you can do more good.
Yes.
You can do more good. I like how she talked about her attitude being better. Yeah. So thank you for joining us on Healthy and Whole in Mind, Body, and Soul. Mm-hmm. We will see you here next time. Please, please, please come back. Bring a friend. And we want to make sure that we're all working to be a healthier person in both our minds, our body, and our soul.
One thing I'd like to also say, if you have any questions, any topics you want to hear about, please feel free to send the email to Brooklyn 265 AFC. You'll find the link somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And send an email, send a message, whatever you feel like is in your mind that you want someone to talk about and just can't get it out or can't find somebody to talk about it. We're here.
That's right. So we'll see y'all next time. Sister Victoria, thank you so much, girl.
Yes,
I appreciate you.
Yes.
Keep doing what you're doing.
And keep looking fabulous.
I'm going to have to look fabulous.
Thank you.
Y'all not going to keep
We will keep praying for us.
All right, y'all. Be good. Again, thank you to 265 Pastor Wyatt and First Lady, Brother Johnny Morris and Sister Pam Morrison, our production team. Thank y'all so much. Everyone. Sister Sheila, everybody that's helping. Thank you so much. Faces may not be here, but God knows we appreciate you and we appreciate the opportunity to do this work. Y'all be good. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
And we throwing out no gang signs.